One of the most exciting things for me is the journey we've been on to see God establish this church. 1996, I was in India. I was there on a mission trip, and I was in a group of pastors at one time, about 70 pastors, that started sharing the story of the price they had to pay for their faith. They shared stories of persecution, they shared stories of being completely disowned by family, and on these stories went, that I had tears in my eyes. It brought me to a place that I realized I'd never paid a price for my faith like that. And I began to surrender myself to God, and I said, God, whatever you want, I'll give it to you. I was even willing to be a missionary there in India. As I got back home and started going around, God spoke to me and said, I want you to leave your church and go plant a church. He led me to this area to plant a church. It wasn't developed as much as it is now. And we came out here with 20 people in 1998 and began to just pray and ask God and cry out to Him for this community. And in that time, someone came into our prayer time and gave us this piece of land that we're on, the largest part of it. So it was worth over $2 million. We were absolutely stunned, and we were convinced that God was in this, that God had something He wanted to do here that was bigger than our human ideas. As the time went on, God began to speak promises to us. He began to talk about how this would be a place that He'd draw His presence, that this would be a place filled with ethnic diversity. This would be a place that would send light out into nations. And on He went with those promises. He gave us 6 promises, and He began to build us and expand us and develop us, that you started seeing Him build these things in our life. He took us to nations. He built the diversity. That we came to 2014, that we knew it was time to step out in faith and begin to put this building on this land, that we could begin to see the purposes of God go forth in greater might and power. And they did. We stepped out. It was scary. We stepped out and trusted Him, but God did mighty things. He blessed us. He moved through us, and He got us here on this land, and His purposes just exploded. We just started seeing Him open up new nations, bring greater diversity. He just started expanding His work, and all of our lives started changing. Even the things God was doing through us began to become bigger and more. Well, right now is the time where we're getting ready to take another step of faith. This is the time when we are sensing, the leadership as a whole, we are sensing that to continue to go forward in the promises, right now is the time, and that we need to step out in faith again. And we need to begin to believe God to reach hundreds and thousands of more people, begin to even build expand our ability to equip young people and people to fulfill the purpose and calling that they have. So we're asking you to join us as we go into this campaign to advance God's purposes. Come join us as we seek to raise $1.7 million and to see God begin to expand this facility so that we can begin to see each and every one of these purposes come to the fullness of what God put us here for. Thank you.